firstly, I'm going to show everybody. I don't know if it'll show up, but it's the day I got scammed out of a lot of money. How did that happen? You might ask. I gave my seed phrase to somebody. Like an absolute retard. What I'm doing for my 3 grandchildren, so I'm already setting them up for this. They've got Bitcoin, they just don't know it. The reason I look at charts and I'm in the group and all of that is, well, I've got some cash that I want to, fiat that I want to deploy into Bitcoin or something. Wonder where the best opportunity would be for me to do that. Crypto is the patient taking from the impatient. Every dollar you put into Bitcoin, you're probably saving $1. You're making $1 more over time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have Papa Bear join us for round 2. Papa Bear, how are you this morning, mate?
I'm doing really good, thanks.
Last time I had you on, mate, we titled the video "Old Guy Buys Bitcoin." It did pretty well. So I was just having a really quick look on X. What I found really interesting, over the last 30 days, a whale has sold $12.7 billion worth of Bitcoin, and we're still over $110,000. You know, for a long time, Papa Bear, people have been saying like price suppression, paper Bitcoin summer. What are your thoughts at the minute with the price where it is at about 110K US?
As far as Bitcoin, look, Bitcoin doesn't give a fuck. Literally, it doesn't at the moment. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I sold $12 billion of Bitcoin or something. So what? Like, it's a drop in the ocean comparatively to, to the total market cap of it. And literally, if it did dip it got to 1 or 2%. And, you should have your orders down there waiting for those dips. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin at any, for me anyway, all I do is I just set up some recent trend lines, and if it hits one, it's going to come back and retest it. So, and then buy on that if you're going to buy it all.
Yeah.
I don't even worry about it too much. You're sure everyone wants it to move, or it's going to be 200K or whatever. Okay. Good.
Relax.
Yeah. Chill. Stack sats.
Why stack and chill?
Yeah, that's it, mate.
It's really as complicated as it needs to be. As someone that's been around for a while, like both of us, like if this happened last cycle, Papa Bear, the $12.7 odd billion would have crashed the market and we would have been down to the low of the cycle. Something that you just said, I thought that was pretty pertinent, is Bitcoin just doesn't care anymore. Like the market cap is so big, $12.7 billion sale, like, so what? We had like an $8 billion sale about a month ago as well, and Bitcoin just didn't do anything. Do you think with like this huge rotation of capital, that's a bullish or bearish sign? How do you perceive that?
So when you say rotation of capital, so from where to where are you talking about?
Well, from the old whales that are selling, like these people that have $12.7 billion, they're obviously exiting around the top of at least the high at the moment, and those coins have been sold into the market. New people are picking them up, and we can see new people are picking them up because the price isn't crashing.
Yeah, for every buyer, there's a seller. Right? For every seller, there's a buyer. That's just how it works. And if it goes up and down, that's what happens. But at the end of the day, congratulations to those whales. Good on them, especially if they're OGs who've sat on that for freaking 10 years or more, because that takes balls of steel.
100%.
Balls of steel. Can you imagine you bought them at $1, $3, $20? Doesn't matter what you bought them for back then. And you've gone through cycle after cycle. You've seen some great highs. What about when it was $69,000 and you had all those, and you still didn't sell? You might have sold enough to live off of whatever you did, but you didn't sell your full bag, and now they're selling their bags. If you ask why, I mean, and I have asked a couple of people why, And some of them are saying, well, then maybe they're going to rotate into Ethereum. They might see a better return. They might going to just getting out now. Let somebody else have a play. Because it really hasn't affected the market. It's been, from what I've seen, in the last couple of weeks anyway, 2 or 3%. We're down, from 124 to 112 today. But every time Bitcoin moves 1% now, it's like $1,100 or $1,200.
Yeah.
For the coin there. And that's what people are seeing now. They're not seeing the percentage drop. They're now looking, that's what I see anyway. So they're now seeing it as a dollar value, not as a percentage drop.
Yeah.
So, it's dropped 5%. Oh my God, it's like $8,000. It's 5% on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number's big in dollar terms.
Yeah.
It's not like, God, I'm freaking holding bags of Ethereum and it dumped 70%. And Bitcoin was still like, oh, yeah, what are you guys doing? I'm up here. Come and join me. I don't get it. Like, don't panic. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all going to play out. It's meant to.
Yeah. I won't ride you too much for holding Ethereum. It's your money. It's your choice. Papa Bear, each their own degeneracy.
It's fed up.
It's not
I'm
something.
doing all right on it, mate.
You are. I think you're also in a different position to most people. I guess the avatar that I'm talking to is someone that's been here for less than a cycle or maybe one full cycle. And, that's actually what I'd like to steer the conversation to. In Australia, they're talking about digital IDs, CBDCs. They want to tax us up the wazoo. They already tax us up the wazoo. There are talks about, Commonwealth Bank, for example, is already limiting people $10,000 a month, etc. All of this I'm seeing like in the next 3 years in this country, it's going to be pretty hard to buy Bitcoin and then move it into self-custody. I think you'll still be able to buy Bitcoin at elevated prices, but it'll more be the bank's custodian it. They'll be happy with you to buy the ETF. I think they've got a short window of time. So my message is just buy, stack, and chill, get as much Bitcoin in self-custody as possible. If people have been here for a cycle or two, they can go out and do all that. I just don't want people to miss this opportunity that I think we've still got for the next, say, 3 years before people can't buy Bitcoin. But as a fellow Aussie, what are your thoughts in regards to like the digital IDs? They keep bringing up the misinformation, disinformation bill that they were talking about taxing unrealized capital gains for super. What are your thoughts, I guess, on the current federal government just coming after everything that's red tape, taxes, regulation?
Wow. I'm notorious for having a sailor's vocabulary. So I'll just, are they fucking for real? Like, because I'm old, right? I'm like, not mega old, I'm old enough though. And I remember years and years and years ago, they had this great idea, we're going to have the Australia card. You probably remember it, don't remember it, but...
Don't remember it.
It was everybody ID card. It was Australia card. You can go and Google it. It went to a referendum. Hey, we're going to have this Australia card, right? And the Australian public said, no, how about you go and fuck yourself? Right? We're not doing that. Literally, like, it was a big, big thing. And the Australian public said, no, not doing it. And so it didn't go up. And now here comes Elbow. Oh, we want a digital ID. We want CBDCs. We want this and that and the other. Everyone said, no, go and piss off. We're not interested. Elbow. How are we going to get around this? Oh, I know. Let's say we're going to protect the children. Okay. Oh, we're protecting the children. So therefore, we need to have, you need to have a digital ID to get on the internet. So we've already got digital IDs. If you're a director of a company, you've got a director's ID, right?
Yeah.
They know who, where, how, and why. All about you. No getting out of it if you want to run a big company in Australia, right? Now they want everybody to have that digital ID. Well, I'm not complying with that. I had to comply with the director ID. Okay, well, you know who I am. Okay, I've got a YouTube account, a business YouTube account. Okay, you know who I am. Twitter account, X account, you know who I am because it's on a credit card. What more do you want? Right? So I'm not giving you everything else. I'm not doing facial recognition. I'm not doing any shit like that. I'm not interested in it. All right. So Australians, this is a controversy. I think Australians that have to a large degree lost their original identity. And our original identity was larrikin, not complying. Yeah, comply with the laws, but we're not going to be stood over. We got stood over for hundreds of years, mate, by the freaking Pongs when they dumped a bunch of them over here, and we became Australians, right? And from then on, we didn't comply. Had enough of them. Yeah, lock us up for life on a freaking continent somewhere because I stole a loaf of bread because I couldn't eat, right? And that was otherwise you're going to hang me. That's where we came from. So. We didn't come here passively. We didn't come here because we wanted to. We were dumped here, because we stole a loaf of bread. Right? Okay. Fast forward, nearly 300 years, and we've turned into a bunch of, I don't know what the hell a lot of people have turned into now. It's ridiculous. And when you talk about digital ID, that leads into the next thing, CBDCs. So, I've had people say, CBDCs, they're great. Really? Go and ask the Canadian truck drivers how great they are.
Yeah.
Go and ask. Look, I noticed over a year or more ago on my phone credit card thing, you used to get, you went to Safeway or wherever you went, it cost you $5, $10, whatever it cost you. Now, you've got product codes. Now it says groceries, petroleum products, this and that. Why? I don't need to know that. Somebody needs to know that. And who is it? The government. The government needs to know the category of your spending. Because later, when they decide that, you've just bought too much petroleum products, we're going to stop that. You can't buy any more petroleum products for the week because you've already used your quota of those. If we don't resist it, look, I think all these things, sadly, are inevitable. Right? So you can either walk into that passively and just accept it, or you can put up some resistance. For me, I'm not being pessimistic. I know that it is inevitable, and I will put up some resistance. But it's not a lot of resistance because you know what? I'm building around me the fuck you money. I don't even give a fuck what they say anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care. Right? Because whatever you do, say whatever, it doesn't really affect me that much anymore. You can't take my house. One way maybe you can, but I don't know how at the moment. But you can't take my house. You can't leverage me out of it because I've got a mortgage. You can't take my vehicle. Everything's owned. So if you want to get escape for a start, you have to own everything. It's hard. It's particularly hard now for young people.
Yeah.
You're talking about banks and Bitcoin or crypto and all that. So what I do I can't really do it for my children, but what I'm doing for my 3 grandchildren, I'm already setting them up for this. They've got Bitcoin. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
Right? They have Bitcoin. They don't need to buy Bitcoin. They're not going to see their Bitcoin for 20 years. Their Bitcoin gets given to them when they're 25 and they're like 5.
Nice.
One's 5 and one's like 3 months. Right? So they're not going to see it. They've got Bitcoin. They don't even know about it on the 25th birthday. Oh, why 25, Papa Bear? Well, because when you're 18, you're a dick. And your wife,
It's probably still true at 25. At least it was for me.
well, hopefully, yeah. Well, look, I'm not going to say any different, but hopefully they've had a better upbringing, maybe the pair of us.
Yeah.
and a bit wiser. And at 25, when they've got all that stupid spending out of the way, they decided that they want to do something more positive. And that's where I go with it. Like I prepare for their future. I'm not interested in what the banks are going to say, do, or what now or then. I'm doing it now. I'm not mucking around with it. I get my money, I buy Bitcoin, I stick it in their wallets. I don't really accumulate wealth for myself anymore. I've got enough stuff that I just need it to go up. Right?
Yeah.
I don't need to be buying more for me, but I always buy Bitcoin for the grandchildren. Yeah, $500 here, $200 there. I divide it by the three of them, and it just gets built in.
Yeah.
Okay. And banks want to stop me? Try it. I've got lots of bank accounts, mate.
Me too.
You got Commonwealth Bank. Well, I don't even know what the hell happened to those guys. You got ANZ, and ANZ owns multiple banks. So you've got ANZ, you've got Bank of Melbourne, and you've got, maybe I meant Westpac. Yeah, you got Westpac, you've got Westpac, Bank of Melbourne, and St. George Bank. Okay. So with the likes of St. George and Bank of Melbourne, I've never had any trouble with crypto.
Yeah.
We're paying, you do one, maybe two pay IDs into, probably better to do it into either Coinbase or CoinSpot, or that other one, whose name escapes me, that I would never use anyway, because whatever they are, Australia, New Zealand one. As soon as you do one or two, do small transactions and build them up, you can do anything you like, any amount. Right? With the super fund, I use Westpac, any amount you like. After, I got my whole banking system closed down from Westpac.
I had someone very close to me in my family. Oh man, they're just in tears with Westpac.
Well, what are you going to do, mate? They shut everything down, and they don't tell you.
Yeah.
You have to find out yourself, and then you get the pleasure of talking to some 12-year-old girl on the phone to tell you, the guy who runs a business, to tell you the dangers of crypto.
Yeah.
Okay. So, pull your head in, just comply. Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, no, but I do know all about it. Fine. You have to. Otherwise,
right.
if you put up a fight, you're fighting the wrong person.
Yeah.
And you're fighting the young person on the phone. As much as it's not about the person on the phone, it's about, I don't know who, the CEO, whoever the hell they are. You can't fight them. They're not there. You can't just ring them up and say, hey, mate, it's not going to happen. Right? So you've got to just, oh, yes, you've blocked my account. Yeah, okay. Yep, no, I do know. You'll see how I've done transactions before. And blah, yep. You have to be passive and calm. Right? One guy I know, he wasn't, and now he's banned from talking to his bank, and his missus has got to do it.
Wow.
I don't blame him. He was
That's
right
right.
with rage because he'd already done a big transaction for his super fund. Then he went to do another one, and they blocked his whole account. But why wouldn't you be livid?
Yeah, that's right.
But when you're on the phone to these guys, you just can't.
Need to chill.
Yeah, it's the way it is. And if you what they say, mate, is if you catch more flies with honey.
That's right.
So you just got to be, as much as you're angry and cranky, you just got to be nice and polite and semi-compliant, and put a little bit of resistance, but in a nice way. When I talk to ATO, I'll tell you a story. So my accountant says, oh, Mel, you owe these guys all this money. Okay.
That sounds like my conversations with their accountant.
Yeah. You owe these guys, Papa Bear, you owe these guys all this money. Yes, I do. Now he goes, right. So this is from my accountant. He's a pretty good guy. Probably not the best accountant in the world. He's a pretty good guy. He goes, if you ring them up instead of me, you'll get a far better outcome. How's that? He goes, it's like this. When you've got ATO and the accountant, it's peer-to-peer, B2B. Nobody cares, right? Because there's a third party that is oblivious to the discussion. So ATO out come the horns, finger pointing at the accountants likewise, and they get into it, and the outcome's adverse to you. So if you ring them up and you find resistance on the phone, which is what happened to me, I said, I can't hear. You're breaking up. I'll ring you back. Yeah, ring again. Get somebody nice. Okay. And what you'll find is they actually have empathy for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because, if you have an ATO debt, it's I think it's 12 or 14% interest, right?
Yeah.
And they're ruthless with it. But you can get a admission on it if you're nice. Right? Oh, I didn't realise. Oh God, like we're struggling here. Can we get a payment plan? Yeah, but there's interest. But if you can meet the requirement at the end, I'll give you a remission on it, which means you get the money. You don't pay the interest.
Yeah.
So just be nice. I mean, you don't want to be. You want to tell them to come stick it up there where the sun doesn't shine, but you can't because it's a lot of money if you do that. So they don't have to. They've got a lot of leeway. All these people have a lot of room to move if you give them the room to move. If you put them in the corner, then they've got nowhere to go and they just throw the book at you.
If you've still got your Bitcoin on an exchange or you're looking to take your Bitcoin security to the next level, I've partnered with the Bitcoin Way. They offer live help for setting up cold storage, running your own node, keeping your Bitcoin private, planning for the future, using multi-sig, and so much more. They never touch your keys. They will not touch your coins. Instead, they'll show you how to buy and keep them safe. If you want to make your Bitcoin setup safer, you can book a free 30-minute call and have a chat with them. Safedina Moose, the author of the Bitcoin Standard, Natalie Brunel, Preston Pish, and so many more recommend the professional IT cybersecurity team. Couple of outstanding things here. You can see they've been featured in Forbes, Bitcoin Magazine, Bitcoin Prague, Zero Hedge, Simply Bitcoin, the Bitcoin Safedina, the Bitcoin Standard podcast with Safedina Moose, Bitcoin News, obviously Gday Bitcoin for a long time. They're the world experts in helping people become self-sovereign. It's not just about protecting your Bitcoin stash. Yes, they will help you do that in a very easy to understand step-by-step process. But from there, they can help you secure your data. They are your personal cybersecurity IT experts. And then step number 3 is getting a second passport, a Plan B residency. The team, very cheap, very affordable for people that are looking to take their sovereignty to the next level. You can find out more about their services. When you first log in to their website as well, they have got a free 3-minute quiz to allow you to check if you are doing your cybersecurity, your setup correctly. I urge everyone to jump onto the bitcoinway.com. I have put a link into the description for everyone. Could not recommend them enough. I've used them personally before I ever partnered with them for the channel, friends and family. They asked me to help them out. I'm like, go to the world experts. That is the Bitcoin Way. So reach out to the Bitcoin Way today. Yeah.
So, I can get as cranky as the rest of them, but there's no point. There's no point.
I agree. And I think human nature intrinsically, overall, like the majority of people do want to help other people. But like you were saying, if we come at them with venom and spite, they're going to come out with their hands up and ready to box on, and they hold the power. So a little bit.
Yeah. Just put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
It's just their job.
Yeah. And they've been, people are calling them up all day, and after a half-hour wait, they're probably getting abused all day. Like a little bit of kindness, whether it's the ATO or someone within the government or the general emergency services or whatever it is. You know, it's I think a little bit of kindness and compassion coming back into the world is a good thing, and I think Bitcoiners should be leading with that. Something you're saying, you brought up couple of times, is moving your super across. Now, I've partnered with Udo Super Fund. There's a link in the description on the website to help people. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but I think the self-managed super fund is the easiest way for the average Australian, in my opinion, to get the most amount of Bitcoin in short order, because most people don't have like 170, 180 grand laying around just to buy one Bitcoin. But if they're in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, they probably have it close to that, if not more, in their super. Maybe they can get half a Bitcoin, maybe they can get 2 Bitcoin, maybe it's 3 or 4, whatever it is. But obviously, like this talk about the unrealized capital gains tax and stuff, its super balances over $3 million. I'd like to get your thoughts. Like, I think if someone holds one Bitcoin in their self-managed super fund, worst case scenario, they bring in the unrealized capital gains tax, say in the next, I don't know, 7 to 13 years, I think that one Bitcoin is going to be worth 3 million, and they're going to be subject to that unrealized capital gains. Now, it's still my opinion that it's better to have big money problems and to have to deal with the potential of an unrealized capital gain to just do nothing, leave it in the traditional superannuation system. We've just seen like 12,000 Aussies have about $1 billion wiped out of their super and stuff. So I always think it's better to hold Bitcoin in self-custody in any way possible, whether that's super or a personal account. But what are your thoughts when it comes to using your super in regards to buying Bitcoin and taking control of it instead of just leaving it in that super system? And fingers crossed it's there for our retirement.
I don't know if I mentioned this last time we spoke live, because that was pretty wild.
That was fun.
There was a lot of fun. So I had a self-managed super fund for about 15 years, and I made an absolute balls up of it because I trusted and didn't verify some of these bank-run super funds. So for people who've got their own super funds, and the returns were negative, which is crazy and distressing. You know, watching your life savings or supposed life savings, well, I should say forced mandatory savings, because that'd be a better term for super, go down the gurgler. Now, because I'm like 65, so I've grown up with not really understanding how money works, but just saying, well, just do what the bank says. You know, like their job is to provide these services, all that stuff. So in the last few years, when I sort of really started to get back into what money was all about, and how to improve your wealth, I took all that money and I bought Bitcoin in the super fund. And I'm so glad that I did that.
Yeah.
Because my return in that fund is off the Richter high. Right? Now, a little story. So a friend of mine, he did the same. He got his super fund, and he's a government employee, so he worked for city council. So he's gone, right, because I was talking to him. So he set it up through a similar sort of organisation like you've done. It's relatively inexpensive. I mean, about $2,000 or $3,000 maybe by the time you do it all. So here's what happened to him in his first year. It was great. Bought Bitcoin, bought a few other things. showed a really good return, 80%, something like that. It's great. Gave it to his accountant, did the crypto tax calculator, did everything, gave it to his accountant. Terrific, that's great, well done. Bear in mind, his fund's deed is pretty much a crypto fund deed. So it was done by a crypto super people, right? So they know it. Gives it to the auditor. The auditor's, fantastic, terrific. Keep doing what you're doing. Fast forward to this year's tax return, 2024, in the financial year. His returns, 160% return on his fund over 2 years. Smashing that, right? Accountant, oh my God, that's fantastic. Well done, good for you. Auditor, bear in mind, same auditor that he paid $900 to do the audit to, goes, here's your report. You read your report. And the auditor says, oh, you're not compliant with your super fund. You're not this, you're not that. You're not ensuring there's enough dollars in the fund to pay out, blah, 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 blah. And I've reported you to the ATO. It's like what the fuck? Why? No response. So my friend writes a letter and sends it to me. Said, hey, what do you think of that? I said, I'll go you one better. What we'll do is we'll run it through Grok, get Grok to do all the research for you. So Grok comes back to, right, here it is. Fantastic letter. And Grok goes and looks and says, the top three industry super funds gave a net return of 12% per annum for the last 3 years. Okay, 36%. Last 3 years. So let's just say the last 2 years from the top three, 24%. Crypto Boys super fund return, 160-something%. And he's not doing it right, apparently, according to this auditor, and is reported into the ATO. He's not doing it right, but industry super funds are doing it right. Okay, at 24% return over 2 years, they're doing a good job, but he's not doing a good job because he only got a lousy 160-something% and didn't make provision for I don't know what. It's a joke. So when you say about should you, shouldn't you definitely should do something with your super fund. Remembering though that it's different than being a freaking flat out degen and doing all that stuff. You actually do have responsibilities.
Huge responsibilities.
You are a director of that. You are a director of the fund. There's usually one or two business or companies involved in it, right? There's a trustee. There's all sorts of stuff going on. You need to be sort of across it. I'm not that across it, and I've got an accountant that is across it, right? And an auditor that is not an idiot like this other guy. So do your homework. I have looked at that company. They seem pretty good. Like if they're focusing on crypto, because part of your super package is it's got to actually make provision for crypto in it, and that you can 100% invest in crypto, right? And so if you're going to do that, you should just be buying Bitcoin, right? Nothing else, right? Now, where I made mistakes is I thought, oh, I'll buy some Bitcoin and I'll buy some of these and some of those. If I had just bought Bitcoin, my return would have been significantly higher for the whole portfolio, right? Not just the Bitcoin part, but for the whole portfolio. Bear in mind, I've got 75% Bitcoin. Okay? Not, 10% Bitcoin and 10%, 75%. That was told to me many years ago by a guy. If you're going to do it, Bitcoin, and then just do this. Right? If you want to have a bit of a play with some others, don't go too wild because it could really tip the balance in your portfolio. So anybody thinking about it, with what I was saying, not financial advice, but go and ask anybody who's got their own self-managed super fund and they use crypto. Just go and ask them. There's plenty of them. And they will tell you a very similar story, especially if you were young. If you've got another 20, 30 years before you're looking at touching that fund, You don't have to sell it. There'll be no capital gains for you on the way
At
through.
this stage.
Well, but even so, if you don't sell anything, but you don't trade with, what are you going to trade? You're going to trade Bitcoin for what?
Nothing.
Right? So you're just going to leave it there. Right? So you're not going to sell your Bitcoin unless you do actually want to really, get in there and manage that portfolio, which is a bit contrary to what you do. Is you might go, well, Bitcoin's at $180,000, and I reckon that's the top I'm going to sell it, and then I'm going to wait for a retrace, and then I will buy back in. And you will definitely have a taxable event, and then you will definitely pay some capital gain tax. But in Australia, so we're only talking Australia, if you've done that within the 12 months, it's 15% capital gain tax at the moment. After 12 months, I think you get a 30% discount or something. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but it's a little bit less, not a lot. So it's not a lot, but you've got to have made those returns first, okay? So you might want to do that too. And I've been known to do that because there's been some great gains that I've made, and I've been prepared to pay the tax on that in the super fund. But I did it after the first 12 months, because then anything after that was, I didn't actually sell the Bitcoin, I sold other things. Anything after that, the tax is significantly less for a super fund. It's not about your income, it's different, right? So there's two ways to manage them. You have a really big obligation to the fund, even though it's yours, to not be a cowboy.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Be a cowboy on your own. I've got multiple portfolios, 3 portfolios: super fund, medium term hodl, and the DGen trading account, right?
Yeah.
So if you protect yourself, I've got most of my future money somewhere that I'm not going to do anything with, and it takes discipline.
Yeah.
I've got some money that's a long-term holder that's got, I think I've got 4 tokens in there, 4 coins in there: Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think there's Aave, and one other, I can't remember. So they're all doing well. Then I've got my play account, which is like, I'm going to degen it and do stuff, which is actually doing okay at the moment as well, because, number go up all the time at the moment. Number goes up, sell, number goes down, buy. Like not leverage trading. I gave that away some time ago because, I like to sleep at night.
Yeah. So here's the question on the trading, Papa Bear. How long do you reckon you've been trading for? Like, how many years ago did you start learning?
Trading only 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I don't do it. I don't.
That's my thoughts as well. It's really like, if people want to go down the route of training, do it, but like realize that it's a 4-year apprenticeship and it's pay to play. Like, you'll probably end up losing money. Some people are definitely going to get lucky and come out on top within that 4-year period. But if you have that mentality that I'm going to dedicate some serious focus, 4 to 6 hours a day for 4 years to learn the skill of trading, then I think that's something worthwhile. But I think, again, coming back to, like, I just talking to the average person, the money's broken. In Australia, it's about 11% a year they're adding onto the M3 money supply. So it doesn't take long for $100 bills purchasing power to be cut in half. And we've seen that in the last 5 years in Australia. So I think, like, just for the everyday person, the entrepreneur, the person leaving school, those close to retirement, that is aware that there's a problem with inflation, but doesn't really have the time to dedicate to training, saying we've just got an option. We can just save our time and energy in Bitcoin, put in self-custody. We don't need to worry about it. Something I want to ask for the little people in your life, your grandchildren, like, they're not getting that Bitcoin for 20, 25 years. My thoughts are I wouldn't leave it on the exchange for 20 days, but like, is it in the ETF? Is it on the exchange? Is it in cold cold storage? How are you making sure that that can be delivered to your grandchildren in 20 years' time?
Drizzle.
And why?
Three accounts?
It's not something I'd ever use at Trezor.
Yeah, what Trezors? Yeah, I know where you're going. Maybe you're going with on the blockchain with a node and all that. So I do even have here something I prepared earlier, an old Mac Mini server, which used to drive our business and no longer does. That's getting turned into a node.
Nice.
Now that's a big learning curve for me. So I'm out there going to learn how to do nodes, but I don't keep their Bitcoin on exchange. Don't keep mine on exchange. Right? I go for me, what's the easy pathway for me. And that's what I do. All right. So theirs is in there. Their seed phrase to that's locked away in on a metal plate thing, and all of that. So, and there's a letter to each of them and to an executor of how to disperse that in time, and all that. So you have to make those preparations, and it's spooky to do it. Like he wants to do that. Right? You're planning for your own demise, but
yeah,
you kind of need to with crypto. It's not like it's in the bank and everybody knows about it, right? All this money, this crypto, I don't even know what it's going to be worth to, I hope it's worth a substantial amount. It could go to zero, I don't know. But I'm doing something for them that I fit that for me right now seems like the right thing to do, right? So cold storage, that's what they call it, I guess. There's lots of options. I've looked around. I have to do it, for me, I have to do it in such a way that it's easy for me to do.
Yeah.
I'm not a Luddite, but I'm certainly not as smart as a lot of people, that's for sure. And when it comes to this, to the tech, but I'll try and learn. I have a bit of time to try and learn as well. I'm asking questions, or looking at YouTube videos about core and what's the other one? Knots, and I don't even know. I still don't know the difference, right? So, but I'll just get the core at the moment, just to get it down there and download it. Now that I have super fast internet, I should be able to. I should be able to get that at least down onto a device properly. And look, I'm surrounded by very, very blessed. In a couple of groups, but one in particular, where we've all surrounded ourselves with a whole range of people that are. We would argue that they're all smarter than each other, right? So when I had a IT issue, got the super fast internet, and I couldn't figure it out. It was there. We've got Ubiquity, freaking AP things, and all of this stuff. All right, still my headache. Reach out to one of those guys. You guys sound like a bit of a network guru. Bang, sorted. Yeah, got another problem with this. Reach out to that guy.
Nice.
So if you surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, right? And in my case, that's not hard, right? So, but if you surround yourself, you've had tons of people on your show that are smart. Like, let's face it, right? And they run rings around us, but we leverage off them, and then what we learn from them, we can help other people, and that's what we do. I've got some really good crypto bro friends and sisters that are smart and kind, generous with their time. Well, I'm blessed. I'm luckier than most people in crypto space. I know what it's like to be sitting at your computer. You got a chart there, and you're trying to do something, and you have zero idea what you're doing, and you get wrecked, and you go, "Oh my God, I haven't got anybody to talk to about." Because you don't, because you're on your own. So you need to, preaching to everybody, but you need to surround yourself with people particularly in a crypto space, because they'll be pretty much like-minded to you anyway. They'll be freedom sort of people that, they'll be a bit anti-establishment, a bit anti-bank, a bit anti, they just want to live and survive their way. So if you'll be surrounded by people like that, that's a good thing. And then those people have most likely got more knowledge on things that you have no idea about, right? And then that, and I've said to them, thank you so much, oh no, you bring so much to the group. I'm like, what? Oh no, you're kind. You like offer your time. You set up all the meetings. You do all this. I'm like, does that add value? And they're like, yeah, more value than you could know. I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. I thought you had to be really smart to add value. But you can also just be kind, generous with your time, and relatively organised. Not very organised, but relatively organised, and to be able to wrangle a bunch of cats when you need to, and get them into the same space. So it's often hard, especially for me. But you don't have to be on your own if you don't want to. But listening, but you've got to build your own group. You've got to build your own tribe, right? Because if you rely on people like, all the KOLs, I think they are, all these crypto guys on the YouTube and all, they don't have your interest at heart, mate.
Yeah.
They have their interests at heart. If anyone says any different, you're talking shit, because they shill the shit out of stuff that they've already bought into and then dump on you. I mean, they get paid to do it. I mean, okay.
Well, they're given tokens for free, so it's in their incentive to bump it to the moon and then to be able to dump it.
Yeah. So listen to them, because what a guy in my group, he says, go and watch those shows. He said, don't listen so much to the content, although you may pick something up. Go and look at the comments. Everything is in the comments. You'll get, how does he put it? It's like when somebody's watching a YouTube video, they're like banging out the keyboard. It's just raw. Out it comes. It's not considered at all.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, and then you read it and you go, that is the sentiment in the space at the moment, right? Not somebody hasn't politely typed in, whatever, and blah, 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 disagree entirely, and no, they just blurt it out. You read it and you go, what's the balance? Who's the contrarians? Does that align with me? Does it not align with me? Go and look at another group and they're all whatever they're doing. And it doesn't take you much to get your own consensus and go, yeah, they're full of shit because the chart's saying this, right? Now, I'm a trader's arsehole, like, to be honest with you, right? But what you can do with the charts, and I know this will sound ridiculously outlandish. So if you get the charts up, you can get to a point relatively really easily with just a falling wedge and a this or that. It's horizontals, and you can see the future. But the future's it's a 50-50 future, but you can see it, because if you've got a coordinate, and you can say, if it breaks out of here, it's going to go there, then it's going to come back and retrace there, and then it potentially go there. If it breaks down out of this, for instance, falling wedge, if it breaks down, it's going here, it's going to retest the top again, then it's going to come down here. Yeah. What would cause it to do that, you wouldn't know, okay? But you can predict the future within a small time frame just by looking at that. Now, the reason I look at charts and I'm in the group and all of that is, well, I've got some cash that I want to, fiat that I want to deploy into Bitcoin or something. Wonder where the best opportunity would be for me to do that. All right. Oh, well, here's a couple of charts. Here's some measured moves. If it does this, it's going to do that. If it does this, it's going to do that. And people say, oh, yeah, it's a 50-50. All right. The outcome could be considered a 50-50, but if it breaks out to the downside and then retests and makes that a ceiling, it's going down more. You can bank on it.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to break back through and make that into a floor. Now, people buy on those signals. What you really need to do is be a bit more patient. And, oh, mate, he's got the best saying. It's crypto is the patient taking from the impatient. Because you want to see these people FOMO into a green candle, you've seen nothing like it. You know, they just buy it, and as it goes up, because they missed the entry, right? They missed the entry. Oh my God, it's going up. They were too low. Oh my God, it's going up. And they miss the entry and they buy it. And then if you've already got a horizontal or a channel or something, you can go, well, it's going to hit that top of that. And one thing's for sure, it's going to come back down. And you get another chance to buy in at 3, 5, whatever % less. But no, they just keep buying it right to the very top of that channel. And then all the people who bought at the bottom of it, they sell, right? Candle goes down and they're all stuck holding it, and then they wait for it to do it again. And that's the real FOMO.
Yeah.
Just patient. You know?
I think I'm just going to keep it super simple for my end and just keep DCAing into Bitcoin. I know James checks from Check on Chain. He did a bit of research and looked at the data. I think in Australia it's 11 p.m. On a Friday. That's statistically the best time to be able to buy the reddest day. But as we get to the top of the hour, Papa Bear, last time I asked you if you had any advice for the youngsters out there or the younger generation, and I'd like to bring up that same question. You look like you're prepared.
I was hoping you'd ask, because I know I gave a pretty reasonable response last time, but I've got better ones.
Let's go.
So firstly, I'm going to show everybody. I don't know if it'll show up, but it's the day I got scammed out of a lot of money. Okay. So firstly, then I'll tell you how I got scammed. Okay. See that?
Sort of.
All right. I'll try and bring it a bit closer. That's a 95% drop in the portfolio, right? In a wallet. That represented about 95 minus $32,000 Australian. How did that happen? You might ask. I gave my C phrase to somebody. Like an absolute retard.
Bloody hell.
And you go, but you should know better than that. I do know better than that. But what happened? I was just the unfortunate person that was in a distress at the time and did something stupid like play with crypto when I was extremely stressed in a family situation with my daughter. Now, social engineering is a thing. It's a real thing. There's hundreds of thousands of them doing it, and they're reaching out to millions of people. And out of that, they'll find one or two that are distressed, weak, whatever, and they'll get you. So, doesn't matter what anybody says to you. Sean says, oh, just send me your seed phrase, I'll fix that for you. If I say, no, tell them to go and do, go and fuck themselves and never do it, and then go and find out how to fix it yourself if you've got a problem with it. Never ever give your seed phrase up, right? That's it. Don't even do it. Okay, that was one thing. So the other one was never trust and verify. I think you know that one. You're all about that, particularly with nodes and all that, right? So here's the other one. Choose your life partner wisely.
Love it.
Okay. So you're talking to someone who's been married 3 times. Thought I did it wisely all 3 times. Turns out the last time was pretty good. Right? The other one's not so good. Okay? Just because they're hot, just because of this, just because of that, doesn't mean shit. Right? They have to align with you, and you have to align with them on lots of levels for it to work. Here's one that's very controversial. Happy wife, happy life is not a real solution to a successful marriage. Why? Well, what makes her happy? Is it you giving her everything to make her happy? Is it you sacrificing everything or all your principles to make her happy? How happy will you be? Not very. So that's why the first part is choose your life partner wisely. That person that you want to be with needs to align with you. And you need to align with them. If you don't, you will be the one pacifying somebody at your own expense, and you will not be happy. Old guy talk, do what you like. Pick the hot chick who needs Louis Vuitton handbags every week, or pick the not so hot chick, or pick the hot chick who doesn't need that. It's fine. Yeah. There's plenty of them. You just got to find the right one. And then I think I've always sort of moved on to this. Surround yourself with people who are way smarter than you, because you need to do that.
Yeah.
If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're not going to learn shit about anything because you reckon you're the smartest guy in the room, and you may well be the smartest guy in the room. But other people can bring you so much more. You don't have to be smart. Yeah. You just have to be able to listen, and listen actively, and then act. It's okay to listen. That's good. Or in one ear and out the other. We'd all heard that saying. But if you listen actively and go, oh, gee, that's interesting, and ask a question back and engage, and then if you like what the person's saying or doing, or how their approach, act on that. Don't not act on it. If you heard something like, oh, this is the way I do it. Here's my reason. And you've challenged them, and they've still given you a great reason, and you think it's a bloody good reason. Then you go, right, I should act on that. Don't not do it. Why do you think I'm getting a no? Because I'm a geek? No. Because I'm hearing you, others in our group, they all got no. They're supporting the network. They're learning. They're doing their security. Okay, I'll try it. I'll try and learn. Who am I? I'm just some old guy on the internet. I don't know shit, but there's plenty of people who do, and you got to listen to them. And if you don't know how to do it, go and Google it or YouTube it. And if you still don't know, reach out to someone.
Yeah, Tony.
You've got to have that someone in your
way. Good.
Yeah, the Bitcoin way guy. So, but you've got to have people to reach out to, and then you've got to be able to trust them, right? So, and you've got to trust them, verify it, find out.
I love that. And just to tack on, because that last one, like surround yourself with the right people, depending on where someone is in their life situation, they may be stuck at like a dead-end job or whatever, and the people around them are not elevating their consciousness and their life experience. There's YouTube, there's audio books, and you can just put your earbuds in or whatever, have your hearing, hair covering it or whatever, or a cap, so nobody knows that you're tuning out to whatever's going on and getting the signal. But some of the classics, Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn and stuff, if you need the positivity, or if you need to learn a skill or something, the podcasts out there or the books, it's always better to have real life mentors and stuff and start your own masterminds and things like this. But it's like, that's the best situation, but the second best is just do what you can with what you have in that situation. A lot of the resources and stuff are free, and like, that's definitely what I did to be able to change my life.
Yeah, well, don't let people drag you down to their level either.
That's right.
You can. You and I have both been down that path, Sean, and you don't ever let them drag you down to their level, because you won't succeed. You won't succeed as a human, and you won't succeed financially. And that's what our world's all about. You've got to have money. It's got to be money that can't be debased by a government. So many stories about being a young bloke and thinking you do 100% the right thing in life, only to find out later, many, many, many years later, that all your work and effort in saving has been destroyed by your own government. Okay? Old people will tell you that. All right? Young people will kind of, I don't know, 20-year-old, they don't get it yet because they don't see it. But I've worked a long, long time for lots of fiat in the bank, and I can buy less with it now than I could back in the day. Right?
Yeah.
If I'd have done something different, sadly, I didn't have people telling me. It's not like I wasn't listening. I just didn't have anybody around me telling me to do it. Here's you, young bloke. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Not financial advice, but do it.
My only advice is study Bitcoin. Read the books or eat the bugs.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Read the books. If you don't know, reach out, whatever. I didn't have that. Nobody in my life was that. Right? I have it now. I've got freaking tons of it, which is great because it keeps you going every day. But if you don't have it, and if you're not engaging with it, you'll fail. You'll just, what is it? Have fun staying poor, because that's what will happen to you.
Yeah.
You'll be a
But
slave
it
to
fun.
It will not be fun, right? You'll be a slave to your own demise. Literally, you're digging your own grave. You have to find a way, and it doesn't take a lot of your savings away from you. Every dollar you put into Bitcoin, you're probably saving $1. You're making $1 more over time. Time in the market, it's a thing, especially in Bitcoin.
I love it.
That's all I've got to say.
Perfect. We'll have to do round 3, Papa Bear. For everyone, if we vibe, definitely hit the subscribe button. I put all the links. You can connect with Papa Bear in the description below. But most importantly, please do something nice for yourself today and for somebody else out there. Be blessed. Peace.